Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another season, another edition here of the 2025 Revival StarCraft League RSL Season 2 Korean Qualifier. And of course, this is your host, VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome, one and all, to the second qualifier of the season. I do apologize. We were scheduled to cast the Americas qualifier this morning, but unfortunately, I was unavailable, so I was not able to cast those Americas qualifiers. Technically, I think I could have maybe, but I wouldn't have gotten any sleep, as I'll have to get into there. But I do apologize. I'll do my best to get back on top of that horse and back on top of casting. We have missed a couple of casting, a couple of broadcasts. We missed a couple of broadcasts over the past day, but we'll get into it. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ley Lines, we have the Red Terran player. We have the Red Terran himself from South Korea, the Tuna Papi. Este Tuna. SMH my hedge. It is Ryung. And spawning in the right-hand corner, we have the green Protoss player. It is a Triple. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as you jump into game one, as you jump into our fresh best of three, as we jump into a proxy. Here we go. Triple, he moves out across the map. Back at home, he does have his first gateway, but across the map, he's looking to proxy another gateway as well. Bearing in mind that gases are being taken, so we can afford a cyber core to be able to reinforce. There we go. We have a two-gate setup, one at home, one across the map, a cyber core. There we go. Cyber core is going to be thrown down, which means we can make a zealot walk across the map and reinforce with adepts and stalkers. So this is a hyper aggressive start here from Triple. Meanwhile, double gas opener out of Ryung playing very tech heavy, very safe. He should be okay, should be able to secure himself. CC will be delayed, of course, in favor of the faster factory, and we'll see where it's going to be placed. SCV scout across the map does get eyes on the additional production, does get eyes on the cyber core, does get eyes on the missing pylon, which is we'll see if he's able to piece things together here. We'll see what he can bring together as he spots Zealot. There we go. Does spot the Zealot, is aware that something's coming across the map. And Bunker. There we go. Bunker immediately is going to be on the way again. No expansion, no Nexus, nothing else here on the way. Something is wrong. And he knows. He's scouting. He's scouting, he's checking, he's looking for the proxy. He does check the right-hand side. Unfortunately, checking the wrong location. Over here it is towards the left. Adept is chronoed out as we speak. It's just now but up. And the Reaper won't be able to get too much done. There we go. Spots the Adept. Adept is revealed. Now Ryung knows. He pulls back. CC on the high ground. As Adept and Zealot are waddling in. It's waddling in up the ramp. Ryung, he will zone. He will zone away again. The bunker is done in time, and he holds. Ryung, he holds. He's got a Cyclone on the way. The best that our Protoss player here can hope for is delaying the CC. I mean, ideally, again, if Ryung hadn't scouted, if Ryung wasn't aware, there'd be a CC building here on the low ground, and it will be delayed, maybe even cancelled, but the CC is safe. The CC is safe on the high ground instead, so this army isn't really doing much. I mean, it forced the CC on the high ground, it forced out this bunker, it forces out this defensive position, but the damage is not quite there. So Ryung handling this very well. Very nicely, very well. It will zone away, it will get on top of the initial Adept. Ooh, Adept does go down. Reaper comes in from behind, and now we see the expansion. SCV Scout, the SCV was still alive from earlier, was kept around, it goes back in, rescouts, reconfirms that the Nexus is on the way. Now Ryung knows that his opponent is no longer all in, he knows his opponent is not doubling down, and that he's going to be safe to soon push across the map. It's just really good scouting here from Ryung, looking solid. Gets across as well, back at him, there's nothing to defend, Stalker is halfway done. Can we get any probe kills? Ooh, gets one. One probe goes down. Gets one, barely, doesn't get the other. Army is still across the map, still reinforcing. Stalker does zone away. And back at it, we have a tank. Back at it, we have a tank. We have Cloak Banshee as well. I do actually quite like this. The reason why I'm quite fond of this idea of going into Cloak Banshee is that Triple right now is trying to recover. Right after, I would say, the failed aggression, we have Blink on the way. He's focusing on resaturating. There's a high chance he might even try to rush into a third, or even going to a Forge on +1. But there's a high chance he's going to be cutting corners, which means right now there's no detection. There's a chance that we might delay the Robo even further, and that this Cloak Banshee can pop up. In this kind of game state, Triple can't necessarily afford that. That we go Robo is now going to be on the way, but the Banshee is already out. Now, I believe there should still be an observer in time because, sure, we're going to have one Banshee, but typically, Ryung, he's going to wait. Oh, never mind. I was going to say he's going to wait for a second Banshee before moving out, and he'll hit with Cloak. He is rallying. He's rallying across the map, so this Banshee should be able to hit. Cloak should be able to hit before the observer is out. It's still going to be quite close here. Even if the observer is out, though, the army's out of position. There is no army at home to defend. There's one Stalker, so damage is still going to be done. I say that we do have reinforcing Stalkers back at home. Thankfully, the Robo is soon to complete. And the mage is coming in. At the same time, we do see Ryung break out. It does get on top of the gateway, distracting his opponent. Cloak is done now. And here comes that Banshee. Goes straight for the natural. Observer just now begins. And there is no shield battery. Yeah, getting two probe kills. It is on A move, so it does waste some DPS here on the Stalker. A nice retargeting here by Ryung. The main army does push across the map. It does pop out. That's still going to be 5 dead workers. Not a bad trade here for Ryung, bearing in mind that he does have a second Banshee now with the main army. And what's important is that he forced everything back home, which means he pushes out across the map. Typically, with this move out, he'd be losing Marines. He'd be bleeding out Marines, bleeding out Cyclones, building out the Reaper, bleeding out maybe even damage on the tanks or damage on the Banshee. But Ryung, he gets across the map. He's within range of the shield battery. Oof. Tank volley's going to be going up, and Ryung is moving in. He's moving in. That's the buy time for his tank. Then we go to the tank does siege. Dives on top of that tank. He's crazy. Does get one. And he should barely get the second tank, but not the third. Yeah, he doesn't get the third tank. Every Stalker goes down. The one Banshee going ham. Hopefully he does retarget the Immortal, as the Immortal does get a lot of free damage. There we go. The Immortal goes down. A little bit messy towards the end there, but the efficiency for Ryung was insane. He gets 5 workers. He resets the army. Back at home is building up. Back at home is freely building up. He has the higher worker count. He has a better economy. He has a larger army as well. Ryung looking solid, and Ryung gets a 3rd CC. Honestly, Ryung here, he could just throw down 2 more Raxes, build up on 2 bases, pull the boys, and just commit to an all-in. If he really wanted to, he could have just committed to an all-in, because there's no splash damage inside, not anytime soon, and the army is barely there. But Ryung chooses to play it safe, gets a 3rd CC. Gets a 3rd base instead, will slowly expand, get a 3rd base, and build up from there. And again, so far, Ryung looking solid. Looking very solid. Now moving up with 2 Banshees. 2 Banshees, they can one-shot probes. They can and they will. As the Banshees are moving in. As the Banshees move in, again Ryung, he's just chilling back at home, building up his army. Safety turret just in case there are DTs. Banshees, they hit the main. 1 shield battery is not good enough, not anymore. And down they go. 6, 7, 8, 9. Can we get up to 10? Ooh, barely can. 10 probe kills. No detection. Oh, no. Honestly, the Banshees, they could have kept going. He doesn't know. Ryung doesn't know this, but there's no observer back at home. It's being built as we speak. So 0 detection. If Ryung wanted to, we could have gotten even more damage. But just playing it safe. Here comes the main army. Observer does follow. Triple is aware. He's aware of the main army. Meanwhile, Ryung, I believe he saw the 3rd. He did not see the 3rd base, but he's moving out tonight regardless. Here we go. Pushing his way up. Does force a cancel. As from here, he stims in. He stims in, takes down the sentries, takes down the zealots. Breaks through the Stalkers. And he will break through. He will break through. He does force a recall. Boys are being pulled. Brutal trades. Banshees, they come into the fray as well. As we kite back into tank range. And Tripoli should lose everything here. 25 probe kills. The Stalkers are barely holding on. We are fighting out of range of the tank, unfortunately, so this tank isn't really adding too much DPS. But I mean, the natural has been broken at this point. There, here we go. Reinforcements have arrived. Takes care of all the zealots, and with that, Ryung, he has done it. I mean, he did it previously, but here he just cleans up what little is left, ensuring his win. does claim his third base, getting fully operational. Breaks the natural expansion. And behind this, we're desperately warping in Zealots. Do we have charge? We do. Charge is done. No forge, no pulse. The boys are... Let's go! The boys are being pulled! Oh, the boys. Happy. And from here, Ryung, he will overwhelm. He'll break through all the boys. The final Zealots as well. GG gets called, and Ryung will take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG. Well played. Ryung does take a lead in the series, and we'll see if we can extend that lead as we get into game number 2. Or if Triple can tie things up and create a back and forth. Let's go. Let us go. See in the chat. Maru's not playing anymore. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. Maru, he's on the bracket. He's playing in this qualifier, so I don't know where that comment would come from, but he's on the bracket. Is on the bracket. I am focusing on a different portion of the bracket. I'm not really too interested in Maru's section. There are other portions that do seem a little bit more interesting in my eyes, at least. So we'll be getting into that. Here we go. So yes, he's in the bracket, and we might be able to cover his matches later on. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Pylon, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Team Vitality, leading the series 1-0. It is Ryung. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner. In the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Green Protoss player. We have Dribble. Down in the series, but we'll see if he can bounce back. Here we go as we load into one of the more aggressive maps in the map pool. Welcome on all to Pylon. Pylon, known for its shorter rush distance, known for its aggressive tendencies. Of course, last game we saw the attempted proxy and the attempted aggression at a triple. Most likely that won't occur here. We're going to be taking a different approach. We'll keep an eye on Ryung as well. Let's go. But again, I do apologize for not being able to cast the Americas qualifier this morning. If I remember correctly, I believe, was it SOS and Gumiho? No, sorry, it was SOS and Australia, that's it. I believe SOS and Australia did qualify for the RSL already through the Americas qualifier. As I mentioned, originally we were going to be casting it here on this channel. This was like 8 hours ago. But unfortunately, this morning I did have to, a couple of things actually happened in the past 24 hours. One, we were casting the we were adminning the Thermal 2v2 circuit, and that lasted a very, very long time. I think it finished at 6 a.m. my time. Like at around 6 a.m. is when the event did conclude. And we were working on it behind the scenes. We were adminning, making sure everything ran smoothly and keeping an eye on things. So we were working on that last night. Because of that, that's why we did not cast the Little League Cup. There's now a weekly Little League Cup, which we will cast in the future, but specifically because of how long and how intense Thermal's event was going to be, we did decide to just slow things down and not cover Little League Cup last night. But we should be able to cast this event here this evening. But again, we finished working on Thermal circuit at 6 a.m. this morning, and I had to take my new pet rabbits to the vets at 10 a.m. So the appointment was at 10 a.m. We finished working at 6 a.m. and I got, I think, 2 hours sleep. I was able to sleep 2 hours, and then I woke up, I was like, and then we took our rabbits to the vet, and that was at 10 a.m. And fun fact, at midday, at 12 p.m., midday noon, that's when the Americas RSL qualifier was. And I did get back in time. I got back at around 11:30, but I was so tired. I was so tired. I was so worn out. I could not cast. I could cast. If I did, I'd probably be even worse right now. Like I would not be able to sleep. So we got some sleep, we got some rest, and bam, now we're here. So again, just back-to-back, like non-stop events basically occurring, and we weren't able to cast the RSL Americas qualifier as a result. So I do apologize. If I can maybe get my hands on the replays, and maybe we'll do a replay cast like next week, but even then our schedule's really busy at the moment. Just because like everything's just happening at once. Specifically, we have the StarCraft Evolution League, we have the Thermal 2v2 circuits, and we have RSL. Like there's so much happening at once right now. We have the announcement of like the SSU Safe House as well. We have the French tournament, the France tournament that's happening around the corner. Like there's just so much happening, and it's quite an intense period in StarCraft. So we'll do our best to cover as much as we can. Neo Reapers, they do get into the main. So far, 3, 4, 5. Jesus, this is already getting out of hand. 5, 6, 7 probe, 8 probe kills. Oh god. 8, 9 probes do go down. Ryung, this is critical damage already here. This is a standard opener out of triple, going what looks to be 3 gate. Yeah, 3 gate blinks, a very standard opener, but the Reapers, they just pull him apart already. And again, there was nothing really special about this. Unfortunately, triple, he didn't see this coming ahead of time. It was not ready back at home. Not quite. He even had safety shield batteries. There's a shield battery in the main base, shield battery in the natural. We had a decent gateway count as well, but alas, and that's just a really shaky start here for triple. Triple now he's expanding, getting a third base to help him recover. Meanwhile, Ryung isn't done. Remember, that was only Reapers. Now here comes the mine drop. The mine drop and the follow-up eventual bio push as well. Now, so far we have no tech labs on the Raxes, so we're going to be focusing on our tank production, focusing on not Banshee this time, but Raven production as well. This should be Raven into add-on swap into Stim, and then we're going to hit a strong Stim timing here on Pylon as well. As the mine drop is coming in, Tripoli does have eyes on this, Tripoli does pull away, he does react this time. Does respond. So far, no major damage. That's going to be 2 Widow Mines for 3 probes. 1 Widow Mine is saved. At the same time, Hellions, they do get into the middle and they can 2-shot, but there's a shield battery. And Ryung, he's forced out. You know, Ryung, we got to calm down. We got to calm down. Hellions, they do hit the mineral line once again, just catching a couple of stray workers. Nothing major here, but another 3 probes go down. I say nothing major, but all up here, we've lost 17 probes. Like, that is critical damage. And that's why the follow-up push here from Ryung can hit so hard. We speak about this all the time, but TvP is very momentum-based, and it goes both ways. There are times where a Protoss player can shut down early aggression and deal damage across the map as a result, and just take a lead and get further ahead and stay ahead. Here is an example of that happening with Terran, where the Terran player comes in, they get so many probe kills, where because of this triple, he has to spend so much money rebuilding and replacing all these workers. It means that his army is that much weaker, and it means that Ryung, when he does push across the map, I don't know if he can be stopped. I don't think he can be. The best option here from our Protoss player is one of 2 things. Either you be a hyper aggressive and go for an all-in, right? You go for an all-in, or you try to cut corners and be very greedy and try to get away with teching up into Storm, for example. The problem there is that you're relying on your opponents giving you time, or you have to try to make that time for yourself. That isn't happening, because here comes Ryung. Already he's pushing. Stim is done. Stim is done. Here comes the move out. We can see that Triple is trying to slow this down. He's trying to pick away at this army, getting 1 Marine at a time, 2 Marines at a time. Even able to catch just a stray unit here. I want to say that might have been a medevac. Yes, force fields, true. Force fields can play a big part in this. It's also going to be collapsing in. One of them was brutal, but the tanks are being targeted down. Very nice engage here by Tribble. Does get both tanks in a sense, but he has to back off. He has to back off. He has to buy more time. Now there's no backbone to this army. And Tribble, he'll hold. Tribble, he is holding on. Cleans up the tanks, cleans up the Widow Mines. Did cost him a decent chunk of his army. Did cost him mainly Zealots, so that's what's important. Mainly trading Zealots for gas-intensive units. Is holding on. Ryung still rallying, still reinforcing. Ryung still has momentum. Oh, the missile turret goes up. It does lay the anti-armor missile. With that stealth, they melt that much faster. Mine shots going off. Brutal connections. And Ryung is just out trading his opponent, out trading Triple. Trying to come in from behind. Emphasis on trying. Zelts are collapsing in. Gonna be focused down, and without any Zealots, this army means nothing. Like, the Zealots, they are what's keeping Triple in this game, are those charge lots. Without them, this army is just so fragile. Jingyan does tank those mine shots. Once again, surviving. Let's go. Getting his third base fully operational. Now working towards Storm. Storm is not yet being researched, which is a little bit concerning. Without Storm, Ryung, he's just gonna keep hammering his way at the natural, and eventually he will break through. Ghost production has begun. Right, he's like, why don't you just die? I mean, the Zealots, the engagements, they've been pretty decent. The target firing on the tanks earlier. Here zoning Ryung away, does get another expansion. Behind this, Ryung, he's soon to be getting a 4 CC. There we go, 4 CC is on the way. And here come the ghosts. He's holding onto 3 EMPs. He's aiming for the Chargers, aiming for the Archons. Yep, one EMP does land. He's still got 2 more. There goes the other. Yeah, it does cover the Archons. One of them goes down instantly. The other likewise barely standing as well. Ryung still rallying. Still rallying across. Still moving in. Here he's kiting well, does kite well, takes some more Zealots. And I'm concerned that we're going to be running out of Zealots soon. Yeah, from here, Triple has to back off. There's barely any Zealots left. Still never Storm, so there's just never any splash damage coming into this. So once again, Ryung can just keep rallying. It's been a slow death here for Triple, where he's just been treading water for the past 5 minutes. Hanging on, hanging on. How many medevacs do we have? Jeez, 10. Oh my god. Calm down, baby, calm down. Soon getting into 2-2 upgrades. And Cloak on the way, I believe those are for the ghosts. And he's going to be connecting. Does kite back, cover the brutal EMPs once again with the Stalkers, no more Zealots, and without any Zealots, down goes the army, down goes the Stalkers, the Archons, the everything, boys are being pulled. But again, without Zealots, there's just no buffer, there's no support, and there's nothing behind it. And with that Triple, it's finally been broken. It's finally been broken. Again, even though he's been in this game for the past 6 minutes at this point, like the entire time he's just been treading water, he's just been keeping his head above water. Really living, just surviving, and that has come to an end. It's come to an end here, as Ryung will break the third base, will overwhelm, and will look to claim his first win here of the qualifier. La Tortuga, La Tortuga. As all the Vitality boys showed up for the RSL. Likewise, Crank is here to cast as well. Hey, stay Crank. Always good to see him. As GG well played, and Ryung will break the natural. GG gets called. Ryung will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the quarterfinals. GG. Whew. GG well played. Again, Triple, just a really unfortunate start. As a reminder, he lost 17 probes to Widowmine harass, Reaper harass, and Hellion harass. Those 3 things killed 17 workers in total. A really strong start there for Ryung, and Triple, he just could not really reestablish himself. He tried to macro out of it, but we spoke about how that was not going to be enough. He had to cut some corners by rushing into any kind of further tech, or by going for an all-in. Just trying to straight up macro from there would not work, especially against like a player of the caliber of Ryung. GG. GG, well played with that. Congratulations. Ryung, he will claim the series, and we are now waiting for his next opponent. Here we go. Exclamation mark, be in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the back yourselves. Let us switch our scenes over and catch up on the brackets.